Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm your host, Ed, along with Justin and Brad. Today, we're going to take a look back at week 2 and then look forward to week 3. Some of the exciting things we have going on around the Clownhead community. We'll start with our DraftKings tournament that we run each and every week. And this week, Zazula finished as the first team with 155.28. Now, how that compares, I put up a 100.58. So I gave free money away this week. However, you can quickly see why Zazula did well. He had Carr and then Javonte Williams and Henderson. So even though the running backs weren't strong, his receivers with Dortch and Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill was a slate breaker, Alberto at tight end, and then Amon-Ra as his flex with the Bengals defense against the Cowboys was what he was thinking there to get that 155.28. So money there. But just as an encouragement to people to jump in, second place the whole way down at 117.18 points with G.J.L. Reed. And then DUGUZ at 109.36 was in the money in third place. So you can actually get to money with 109 points in the Clownhead tournament. So something for everybody to jump in and be part of that and take away some money each and every week. We're back at it this coming Sunday on for the main slate on DraftKings. And then we also have Beat the Clown. And so my score, again, was 158. So 100.58. And the Cammer beat me with a score of 111.78. And then G.J.L. Reed with 140.98 beat me as well. So if he would have put that in the tournament, that same lineup in the tournament lineup, he would have, had a lot stronger second place showing for there. So you can see that people use different lineups in different spots. And so there's always a chance to come get some wins. And so that's a free, easy $10 I'm giving away pretty much every week. So the more people that jump in and think they can beat me, I guess, we can get there. I've finished 50% each week so far. So I won 2 and lost 2. And the first week I won 4 and lost 4. So come get your money if you think you can beat me. Otherwise, I'll just keep taking mine. So moving on to the Elite 8, we always like to look at who are the top performers. And so we'll start with Division A. It was Davider comes out with a top spot, 274.71. And I'm looking at our prediction sheet for the three of us, and none of the Clownheads decided that Davider would be at the top spot. So we all missed on him for week 2. None of us had that right at all. And then looking at Division B, 808 Ryden, 276.21. And again, none of us had 808 Ryden in the top 2 spots either. So we missed there as well. Looking at Division C, it was actually Team Podson. And again, I look at the to see if any of us had that with 278.18. And again, none of us had Podson in the top 2 spots either. Looking at Division D, it was ZBM7 with 299.72. And I look at that, and again, we aren't into ZBM7, so none of us had that right either. So as we get to week 2 here, you're going to start to see a theme. We're going to jump back to Division E because that's where our top performer is going to come out of. And so looking at Division F, Turkleton with 314.04. I'm proud to say that we all had Turkleton in the 1 seed. So we all kind of had that kind of pegged out correct in Division F. So we do have that set aside the right way. Division G, Fantasy Freak, 294.70. I'm going to pat myself on the back because I had that as the 2 seed. And so I'm the only person that gave Fantasy Freak any love. And Division H, Hipster Killer with 339.76. And I always think when you get into the mid 3s, you really have a good team and a good performance for the week. And none of us had Hipster Killer in our top 2 either. Looking at Division E, JSL 111, a score of 350.10. So pretty big score. Looking at that team and just want to bring Justin into the mix and taking a look at this team and just kind of giving your reflection of why. I mean, obviously 68 with Lamar sets the stage, but you guys give me your thoughts on this team.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he had like the three biggest players of the week in Lamar, Tyreek, and Diggs. So those three definitely boosted him a lot. And then Kyler had a good game. He had Waddle as well. So he definitely had a great week for his core guys.
Oh yeah, easily especially with Lamar. Lamar had an insane game, insane. And one run that I watched live on TV that he just took it to the house 79 yards all the way to the end zone. It was a beautiful run. And then Stephon Diggs, of course, in one of my other leagues, I went up against him and Josh Allen, and they just destroyed me. And I was hoping for Allen to choke last night. So, but Stephon Diggs had a really big game. 12 receptions, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, another monster this week, including Waddle. Woo! His team was pretty stacked this week, even though as Derrick Henry down here wasn't too involved this week with only 13 touches, 25 yards, and of course he was able to punch it in on the 1 yard line on fourth down there. And then Swift and Saquon Barkley this week. And of course, those two are two of the top 10 running backs in the league right now. So he's looking pretty stacked right now.
When you guys at the bench, Cordell Patterson at the bench, and then Darrell Williams, if there's anything wrong with Connor, that's a good player to have. And then he's got the newest Tampa Bay Buccaneer receiver in Cole Beasley, on the team already prior to the waivers happening, tomorrow morning. So I see he knew that Cole Beasley would end up somewhere. Also, Michael Thomas, and then before we go, we'll look into the Giants a little bit. I want to get some of your thoughts on the Giants and their receiving, but Sterling Shepard feels like one of the most secure guys there in their whole 2-0 New York Giant receiving core. I mean, there. So that's on his bench with Cordell Patterson. So I feel like there's actually, and then Brevin Jordan at tight end, so he does have a third tight end. I feel like there's a lot of room here for the bye weeks and maybe an injury or two, and he can be just like, let's go, we're okay. And so when we jump into some of the big injuries that have happened over the course of the week, I'm pretty thinking this team is solid. Like, I think we'll be talking about this team a couple more times this year, like this we are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree there. But he's looks like Mike Evans might get suspended for this week.
Yeah.
That little fight that I had in the game there, but he did appeal the suspension, and looks like the decision will come out tomorrow. So we'll know definitely tomorrow if he'll have to find another guy to throw in there. But
Michael Thomas ready to go, right there.
Yes, it's exactly what I was about to say. Yes, throw Michael Thomas in there.
Or Curtis Samuel. We didn't even allude to that. Yeah,
he's only really tight end at this point. He's got a pretty solid team.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely talk about them more. Looking at Clownheads 1 through 5, the point scores there. Clownhead 1, Jim Instant Karma 272.59. Clownhead 2, Malahomes 231.64. Clownhead 3, Corporation, and that's at 290.10. Clownhead 4, Cheeky Hobson 262.89. And just to kind of give you an idea, we all had Jim Instant Karma, Clownhead 1, in the 1 spot. So we all got that. And then Brad got Malahomes in the 2 seed. So was the only person of us that gave her any love. Clownhead's 3 Corporation is on Justin's list in the 2 spots, so he's the only person that gave Corporation any love. And then Clownhead 4, none of us gave love to Cheeky Hobson, so that was kind of all there. And then Clownhead 5 was our leading scorer, even more than the Elite 8, so even better than the Elite 8. Kerwin 17 with a score of 363.56, and wouldn't it be just fitting that I played Kerwin 17? So he gave me my loss there in that league, my first loss, and I go up against the best scoring team in the whole league. But I guess somebody has to. So we look here, and I can quickly see why that happened. What do you guys think of Kerwin's team?
His team's pretty good. He had Josh Allen, who went off along with Aaron Jones. And then Cooper Kupp went off with Tyreek Hill, Michael Thomas, Zach Ertz, Darren Waller, Tyler Higbee. He had a complete team this week that kind of put up points for him.
Yes, absolutely, including Miles Sanders there. He had 17 carries, 80 yards, along with 3 receptions for only 6 yards. But this week he wasn't able to punch it into the end zone, which, of course, that's give or take either week. With last week he was able to put up some good numbers last week also. But even on his bench, he has Nelson Aguilar with 28 points just sitting there. And of course he got targeted pretty heavy, 6 for 6, 110 yards and a touchdown in that game there, which is pretty hefty for him.
Do you feel like Nelson Aguilar came out of nowhere though this week? I mean, just didn't do anything in week 1, and
yeah, I definitely agree there. It was Parker last week. He only had 2 targets, maybe 3 targets last week. And in this game, Parker was invisible, and Aguilar was the one that was kind of shining this week a little more, which was fairly nice and fairly shocking that he caught all 6 of 6. He normally drops 2 or 3 balls a game at least. But instead of sending him downfield for every target, they kept him kind of shallow and short. And I think he did catch one long ball. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but he was actually pretty effective past week.
And I wondered what you guys think of Marlon Mack on this team, the San Francisco running back now, and especially with the injury to Davis Price. Do you think that Marlon Mack has a path to relevancy?
I do not. I think he's too old, long in the tooth. He'll be there for a couple. I don't see him being too very much impactive. Won't impact anything.
Gotcha.
What do you think, Brad?
I think actually I'm going to take the opposite. I think there's definitely a shot just because I feel like San Francisco running backs get hurt every year. So I feel like just because of injuries or something, he could have at least a shot to get some carries.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think with his health in recent years, that I think first or second carry he'll get injured. So
exactly possible.
Yes, especially there in San Francisco, it seems like everyone goes down there.
Definitely. So taking a look at Clownhead 1 redraft and Clownhead 2 redraft, we have Heifer 808 with a 306.52 in Clownhead 1 redraft. And then Clownhead 2 redraft, JSL 111 comes back into the mix with a 305.96. So really put together not only a great dynasty team that we talked about tonight, but in the Elite 8, but also has a great redraft team. And really going to make things challenging for me, who I'm actually 2-0 in both of those leagues. So pretty excited for where my teams are going, even though I'm not scoring 300 points. I guess I'm getting the right matchups to be successful. So which is part of it, honestly. As we look ahead, I really strive in all my leagues to not get too excited about the win-loss record as we go through the month of September. I look at things after week 5 and really like to be 3-2, or can deal with 2 or 2 and 3. Just don't want to be 1-4 or 0-5 and feel like there's always a good shot then to make the playoffs. So, really trying to get to 3-2 before the bye weeks start, and then that's when the separation can occur or during those bye weeks. So that's kind of my personal strategy, just to put it out there of what I try to accomplish. In week 2, Justin, I noticed that we play in 2 different best balls, and I only play in 2 best balls totally in my portfolio of teams, and they're both the Rat Pack best balls. One's a 1 quarterback league and one's a super flex league, so a little bit different. I built those teams a little bit different, but I started the week in second place in both of them and in the money, and I ended the week out of the money in both of them. And I noticed that Justin jumped me in both of those leagues, so he's in both those leagues too. So interested in how your teams are making the jump, what's going right with your teams, and what can I learn, because I'm not a best ball player.
Well, the 2 quarterback redraft league. Oh, the best ball. My bad. The Rat Pack normal best ball. I don't know. I just kind of threw something together. And of course, this was back when I was just learning about best ball and how they draft for a best ball to become effective in it. But of course, I have Chubb and Murray, which he was able to come back and late in that fourth quarter and overtime game against the Raiders this past week, and Waller. And I have Mitch Trubisky as my second quarterback there, and Gerald Everett. But I just kind of tried to draft for an overall best team. I pretty much took the strategy of best available and try not to get too many of the same players. Too many shares of one specific player.
Gotcha. So I kind of did it differently. You'll notice that I have 5 quarterbacks in that league, and I took my last 2 quarterbacks with my last 2 picks, around 19 and around 20, and they were the backups to the starting quarterbacks. And my theory was, if those starting quarterbacks get hurt, which, I always refer back to last year, 17 starting quarterbacks got hurt, that I can just bring in their backups, and then I have 3. So, I always can cover the bye or cover the first injury no matter what. And so, that's kind of my theory, is that I should always be able to start, not take a 0 at the quarterback position. So I did that, and I actually have Lamar, so I would have thought I would get some real headway there. But anxious to kind of see how it is. And I did the famous punt wide receiver 2 here in this league. I drafted Justin Jefferson with my first pick, and then I didn't pick another receiver forever until Robert Woods in like round 10. So I guess we're gonna see if you can just fade wide receivers, if you can win. That's kind of my goal with this team. So I'm anxious to kind of see how. I did really feel like I had a philosophy and a strategy, and I'm going to see if it works out. And I'm anxious to see if those 2 things happen in Rat Pack best ball, because I think it sounds like we might bring those back again. Before we look ahead to week 3, I guess I just want to ask you guys about some of the things that are going on, and as we film on Tuesday, and kind of let everybody know that we publish the show on Wednesday, but you film it on Tuesday. I haven't heard anything in the media, so I wondered about you guys if you have. I know that Kenny Gallade packed his locker up before the media was allowed into the locker room on Sunday after the game, and so within 15 minutes of the game ending, Kenny Gallade was gone and the media, his locker was cleaned out. And he had 2 snaps in the game on Sunday. So he's owed $31 million in guaranteed money. So $31 million would be the cost of cutting Kenny Gallade at this point. And the coach made mention of at the post-game conference when nobody really knew what was going on that he's going to play the best players, which seemed to be like, the people that we've never really heard of at receiver. So I guess my question to you guys is Kenny Gallade done on the Giants? Is that over? And for it, interestingly enough, because we don't see the Wednesday practice reports as we have this conversation, the media hasn't gotten on this at all, which is really twofold. I'm interested twofold. One is that I believe that they must have a very good handle on the locker room, which maybe makes their 2-0 record a little bit more substantial than what I thought it would be, because if they're not talking, then they have a good handle. Like I can't imagine in a New York media market that they could just shut everybody up. Like it's been silent. I mean, you guys hear about it? Like, what are you hearing about Kenny Gallade and his future with the Giants?
No, I haven't heard anything. This is the first time I heard about it. I'm shocked. That is really, really surprising. I know he's kind of takes high regards to himself, and with him making 12 million plus bonuses, 17 million a year, I think, this year, but overall 30 million for a guy that's took 2 snaps and has maybe 1 or 2 targets on the year. Just a few years ago, I remember having him on my team, and I thought he was an up-and-coming young guy, and I really liked him. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened to him. This is a complete shock, and I'm assuming so. I'm assuming that with that type of attitude, he's done there for the Giants.
Yeah. I put up online as we're talking, and it looks like his locker's cleaned out. Like as of today, there's not a thing in his locker, and they were basically saying, hey, there's no this is gonna really be interesting how this unfolds this week. So I guess we'll get out ahead of it. We're kind of reporting it first here, So as we film anyway, that the Kenny Gallade. So I guess I would say this. I think that their 2-0 record is better than I would have thought, because to be able to keep this under wraps like this tells me that there's a presence in the room, in the building, that is pretty strong. Because if there was any malcontent or anything crazy going on, you'd know about it. You'd really know about it. And, we know about whether Tom Brady's going to show up for work on Wednesdays or not. Like that's a thing, and gets a day off. And we learn about when people are going to miss practices or veteran skip days. So this has kind of been real quiet. So pretty interesting to me on the Kenny Gallade front. What are you guys feeling about Trey Lance? How many Trey Lance shares do you have, and how has that affected life?
Yeah, definitely. I have a few shares of him in my home dynasty league. He's my pretty much my only quarterback in a 1-quarterback league other than Geno Smith, and we all know what Geno Smith is. And it's pretty tough to even score 1 point in a league. There's no decimal scoring, no fraction scoring. 10 yards for rushing, 10 yards for receiving, 50 yards for a single passing point. And of course, 6 points for your touchdowns. So it's very, very hard to score in that league. And with him going down, I had this one offer Monday night. Some guy wanted to send me Jimmy G for 2 first-round picks. And I just kind of laughed and sent him a nonsense trade offer, counter offer for a 4th-round pick for him, telling him that's what I really think about that. And then I got another offer this morning. A guy wants to give me Davis Mills and Albert O for um, David Bell and Dallas Goddard, and I countered him, just changing out Goddard for Zach Ertz. So we'll see if that goes through to get me the actual starting quarterback this week. So we'll see.
Brad, what are you planning to do in your league? I know Lance was part of the Elite Eight on your team. How is that affecting you, and does it have any effect for you? I think you might be muted out there, Brad. We aren't
Oh,
here.
sorry. I only have that one share of Lance. Honestly, I'm definitely lower on him than most people, but I'm more excited about Jimmy G starting. Honestly, I like him a lot.
So I'm pretty excited as well. I have a lot of Lance shares. I did like Lance. I actually probably made a snafu, but I'm okay with it. I got offered a first round pick and Jalen Hurts for Trey Lance on Saturday, and so I declined that trade, and so probably wasn't the right move, except for that the process still was right. And why I say that is that I felt pretty strongly that at that point, Jalen Hurts still could have lost his job. I think, last night we saw that Jalen Hurts is really going to be in Philadelphia. Like, that was a solidifying game for him. And, I guess I was a little bit thought, I still know that Trey Lance is going to get every opportunity to be successful. And so it's just not the time to make trades on 22-year-old quarterbacks. So that's kind of what I was looking at there and why I decided to decline those trades. And really, I do decline trades at this point of the year unless they're just like what Justin said. If I got offered 2 first-round picks for Jimmy G, I'd probably make that trade happen. But I need to have a lot. I actually got offered a trade, and I should throw this out here that I declined. So most people will be there. I got offered for Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence. I got offered 4 2023 firsts and 2 2023 seconds, and I said that wasn't enough. And it's in a 2-quarterback league, though. It's in one of the Clownhead leagues, and so their quarterbacks are king, and I wasn't going to give them up for two first-round picks each. That just didn't seem like it made any sense to me, and not especially with where quarterbacks will be worth if I sell them singly. And that was kind of my theory, and I'm going to just be patient and not set the quarterback market there. And so that's kind of what we're where we're at with that injury. Brad, any other injuries that piqued your the Connor injury? What do you know about the Connor injury, and what do you expect there?
I don't know too much about it, but I hear I heard he's not going to be out for too long.
Right.
So.
I expect him to play. It's an ankle injury. I think that he's gotten 8 ankle injuries the last several years, and before this, that would be 7, right? 7 times after leaving a game with an ankle injury, he's played the next week. So to think that he'll play this week seems to be like a real realistic thing. Yeah. So, I think you're right. I think he'll be back in. It did look by usage, though, that Darrell 1L Williams looks to be the real handcuff as opposed to, Benjamin. So just kind of.
We even last year when Connor went to Arizona, we kind of expected him to be a touchdown dependent running back. And now that he's come back down to earth, I feel like that's really what he is now. Like, he's not just a high end RB2. He's kind of like a RB3 flex now.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you doing overall, Brad, in your leagues? And what do you feel like? You have a lot of 2-0 teams, or do you have teams that you feel like you're really ready to take a shot? I know you mentioned the Clownheads team where you think you have a shot to win.
Yeah. I think my teams are shaping up well. I haven't had any of those 350-point weeks yet, but I think, like you said, I think my matchups have lined up right so far. That's what a lot of it's about is just scoring more points than the guy you're playing each week. That's all. Like,
yeah. I mean, we definitely highlight the top scorers, but realistically, you hit the nail on the head, Brad. It's about beating your opponent. I mean, so each week we just got to beat our opponent, and you just got to score more points than your opponent. So the top score, obviously want all the points we can get, but that really doesn't do us a lot of good if we can just beat our opponent and that kind of thing. And so that kind of brings me to the Elite Eight and in Division E. It was just we've had one person that left, and they left mid-draft with no picks. Basically, they traded away their third through 14th round picks, and there was no picks there. And once they left, we were concerned because we're like, who's going to take over this team? And the board was like going crazy, like the team would never be able to win. And so proud to say that the newly married Dan Hart actually took over that team and actually got a win. So I wouldn't want to be the person that lost to him in week 2 of the inaugural season. But yeah, crazy that, I mean, he naturally had Tua in our crazy scoring system. So that helps, you get a guy that has a career day. And actually it should get to that, Justin. I know you've been probably the highest of anybody I know on Tua. How do you feel today with Tua? I know you have a lot of Tua, right? Because what do you have a lot of shares of Tua, Justin?
I have a few, and I actually benched him this week, and of course he got all of his 70 plus points on the bench this week. So yeah, a little disappointed in that, but I am currently not trying to win, so I'm kind of glad.
Well, I mean, I guess I always say I try to win until I can't, but and then I just rely on the ping pong balls to bounce my way for the draft picks, I guess. But yeah, Tua, I wonder if it. I was thinking about this morning. I was taking a run, and I thought to myself, I sort of think that today's the day to trade Tua. Like, right? I mean, will Tua ever have a better game than he just had?
No, I don't think so.
Probably, I would say if we were to have this conversation in 5 years, we'd look back and say, "Yep, that was the best game. That was the best game of the career. Like that one was it." And so, I think whenever you buy now on Tua, you're buying a lesser game than what he just played. Like, and so I don't think I just want to sell him and not have anything back. But if you could sell him and get something young and stout, get Trevor Lawrence back plus, Trevor Plus back would, I almost got to think it would make sense. Like, it would be, you'd say, okay, that makes some sense. So yeah, I thought that was good. Any other things that you have coming up? How are your teams doing, Justin? We didn't get a chance to really break down your teams. How are you feeling after 2 weeks? Anything surprising to you 2 weeks into the season?
A little bit. I'm surprised that one of my teams I'm actually not looking too bad. And one of my clown head leagues, I'm pulling it up right now for you. Actually, I'm in my clown head leagues. I'm 0-2 in each of them, but I'm of course just right outside, scoring pretty high right now. But a couple of my outside leagues, outside of Clownheads, some of my personal leagues, do fairly okay. 1-1. I'm 2-0 in our Rat Pack redraft, and I teamed up with my uncle on, and going to continue to push and try to win that league, especially since we're gonna have to do something since Connor is probably looking to miss a little time with a ankle sprain, more likely, and Justin Herbert with his fractured rib cartilage. I think it's going to hinder him a little bit, but instead of being a top 3, I think he'll be a top 8 quarterback.
Do you feel like do you think that Herbert will miss some time?
I don't. I do not. Kind of like what Tony Romo did when it happened to him a while back. They just gave him flat jackets and patted him up and see if he can play with it. And if he can, great. If not, then guess you'll be missing some time. But the way he threw that pass late in the game uh, Thursday night, that I can see him kind of being able to push through the pain.
Yeah, just seems like a real tough guy.
Yeah, I feel like, and just historically, quarterbacks play through rib injuries. Guys even like Michael Vick were playing with broken ribs, and
In closing, I want to ask you guys about the quarterback position and what we have coming up. Just kind of curious. Do you think that there will be a change in Pittsburgh soon, moving from Trubisky to Pickett? Do you feel like there's anything that may happen there? I think that's a fluid situation.
I don't think so. I think they're just pretty much on the board at 500, and they don't want to kind of like what they did to Big Ben. Wait it out a little bit, not throw him in there the first year, unless they absolutely had to, and just kind of see if they can get another good draft pick, and see what they can do next year.
And then, what do you think? What are you hearing?
I think it'll depend on if they're winning or not. If they are winning, I could see him being the quarterback sooner rather than later, honestly, actually. But if they're losing, I think they keep Trubisky out there, lose, and draft a quarterback next year again, honestly, a better one.
So I guess I'm hearing, as of today, I had kind of have some friends in the building there, and it seems like there's a lot of push to get Pickett on the field. However, Coach Tomlin seems to be fighting that urge for this week. So if week 3 may not do it, but I am told that it's very high possibility that Pickett will, if another mediocre performance in week 3, we'll see Pickett in week 4 is what I'm being told. So just trying to be aware of that, and that's what at least I heard latest today was where I got that. So.
I also feel like that's one of the big mistakes the Bears made last year, was bringing in their rookie QB too early. And
so to be clear, I'm not giving you what I think they should do.
No, yeah.
Kind of giving you what I think they will do. And I agree with you. I mean, of course, I'm probably the only guy that likes Coach Matt Nagy, but he learned very well that you let Pat Mahomes sit behind Alex Smith for a whole year. The plan worked. Lamar Jackson sat behind Joe Flacco for a whole year. The plan worked.
Absolutely.
Trey Lance sat behind Jimmy G for a whole year. The plan works. The plan isn't Fitzpatrick should have played in Miami the whole year and Tua sat, and the plan would have worked. The plan works. It's not a bad plan. It's more, but this first round draft capital, all of a sudden there's this push to get them on the field, and really, let's go the other way. Trevor Lawrence played all year last year, and for what? It didn't really show us very much. I mean, he's going to get more opportunities now, but it didn't show us anything. The fact that he got to play. So that is kind of my theory. A couple other quarterback changes that I'm wondering about, and I guess I wonder if I'm on to something here. Jameis Winston obviously has the hurt back, and a little bit of people calling for him to take a seat for a couple of weeks and let Andy Dalton run the show for a minute, and basically thinking that he's a serviceable veteran quarterback that can hand the ball off and play good enough with a defense that's pretty good, and then let Jameis get healed so that he can come back and perform well. So I'm not sure where that goes, but that's what I was hearing today on that front. Have you guys heard anything?
I have not, but I think 3 fractured vertebrates is a pretty tough injury to heal in just a couple of weeks. So they either play him or completely bench him and let him get healed up. But I don't like Andy Dalton there. I don't like any other backup quarterback there. If they want to be relevant this year, they're gonna have to leave Woodson in there.
Oh, I have a feeling if Jameis sits, they go with a timeshare quarterback with Taysom and Dalton. Honestly,
They may that just kind of inside the building, the beat writer was saying that he really thought that there's some push on the coach to just really let Winston relax and heal, so that could be ready for a possible stretch run. And but you have to get there. You have to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And lastly, Seattle and Geno Smith. Not that I personally expect Drew Lock to be better, but Geno was bad and really bad. And so I'm wondering if it isn't time to at least see what they have with Drew Lock. And I'm not on the West Coast, so I don't know, but that's one I wondered about.
I don't know. I don't think Drew Lock's an upgrade. Like, I don't think you get any better games than what Geno had his first week anyway. So, I just don't see a point for them at this point to switch.
100% agree. 100% agree. I think Drew Lock is Drew Lock. He's not going to get any better just because he's on a different team and a slightly different play calling there. He's very inaccurate. I mean, so is really Geno also. But I think Geno gives them the best ability to win games and keep things rolling there until they can find and draft their next quarterback.
So you think they'll keep rolling with him even with a couple losses?
Yeah.
They'll roll with him the whole year probably.
And Pete Carroll's loyal to his guys, so I mean, I can see him being loyal, but that was I think that was more of a national media calling for Drew Lock, and Drew Lock is a media darling, so people.
He really is.
So, he's kind of one of those guys. I remember a game last year where he lit up the scoreboard and everybody was all excited about him, and he had one of those games. But so the quarterback doesn't look like beside Trey Lance we're going to have any movement on the quarterbacks. It looks like Cooper Rush will start again, and it looks like Joe Flacco is going to start again. So those two will start, this week as backups or changes. And then I think we may see I think we may see both Zach Wilson in week 4 and Dak Prescott in week 4 is what things are hearing out of those camps. So we'll get back to the starters. But
I think so, but I think the smart decision, which is not very many decisions that the Cowboys make, but they need to give them at least 4 weeks. Talking about Dak Prescott. He doesn't need to come back in week 4. That's 3 weeks. 10 day. They said 7 to 10 days after surgery, which has been what 8 days now. He needs a few more days to even start preparing to throw the football, and it's all whether or not he's going to be able to actually throw the ball and hold on to the ball.
And how you finish, not how you start. So I think that it may be wise to let him heal and not rush him back where, you have this cluster down the line in week 14 and there's a problem. So I agree with you guys. Some takeaways that I'm going to throw at you guys and see what you can bounce off. I was really impressed with the Eagles this week. I thought they maybe were better than I anticipated them being. I was a little bit surprised that Buffalo was able to manhandle a Tennessee Titan team that logically I understand how they were, but it just felt like Tennessee always seems to play well and keep things close to the vest and stay close. And so I was kind of shocked by that. They just got blown off the map. And what that tells me is that A.J. Brown was real important to the team. And it's kind of ironic that now the Eagles are that team, with A.J. Brown, that the Titans were with A.J. Brown. Like there seems to be a common denominator, with that. And I mean, laughably, you guys are about to laugh, but I'm coming away thinking that the Jacksonville Jaguars are the best team in the AFC South. Like, I do think that they will win division in the AFC South. Like, I see no reason to think that they are not, with their defense and their two quality pass rushers that they have now, and then with the offense that they have, like, they are built on both sides of the ball. They used that first pick. They were drafting defense this year, and then they had defense from last year, and they actually have some players where they actually make noise on the defensive side, and then they're able to have on the offensive side, and it's just an impressive operation there. And they can withstand a running back injury, right? They could withstand a receiver injury. They could withstand, with Dan Arnold and Evan Ingram, a tight end injury. They could withstand defensive injuries. They just could withstand all those kind of things. Now, I guess Trevor getting hurt would be a buzzsaw, but beyond that, I feel like they could withstand the injuries better than the Colts. Look horrible, and I mean, I don't know what they are, but they haven't won yet, so they're, it's not just like me saying it. And I thought the Titans would be okay, and they haven't won yet either. So, the Texans have tied. They've figured out how to tie, but I was looking over that there's 6 undefeated teams in the NFL, and 2 of those 6 are in the NFC East, and 2 of those 6 are in the AFC East. So outside of the NFC East and the AFC East, we've only got 2 teams in football that are undefeated. You just let that sink in a little bit, and that we really only have 2 undefeated teams outside of the East, and the Giants are one of those undefeated teams, and the Dolphins are one of those undefeated teams, and then obviously the Bills and the Eagles, and then we have the Chiefs, and then I'm drawing a blank on the other NFC team. Can you guys think of the other NFC team that's undefeated out of the?
No, not off the top of my head. But I can sure pull it up.
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of drawing the blank, but the 49ers, did they win both? Or no, they lost. They lost.
No.
Yeah.
Said NFC.
NFC. There's I read the stat. I'm maybe the South. Did the Saints win too? I don't even know. Oh no, the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Buccaneers were the other one, and so there you are. There are your 6 teams, and so it's going to be interesting to see how. So it's hard to win 2 games in the NFL. So I guess I even say if you're playing fantasy football and you haven't won 2 games yet, you're no different than the NFL. There's not very many undefeated teams. So we're in for a long season. We're in for a season that'll be fun. I'm excited for week 3 of the NFL season, and Brad will have some best bets. He's gonna start to win this week, so I'm excited for that. And Justin's gonna really have some recapping to do next week, so excited for that as well.
Sounds good.
Any parting words from you guys before we wrap this up? Or did we cover everything?
Covered a lot.
Yeah, we covered quite a bit, so I think we're good.
Good luck to everybody this week, week 3, and I want to encourage you to jump into the DraftKings contest. I mean, who can beat the clown? I don't know. I look like I'm pretty strong. So if you guys think you can beat the clown, you better jump in. That's all for this time. I'm Ed. That's Justin, and Brad on the other side. We'll see you next time.